and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Jumbo, and hello everybody. A very warm welcome to our sunset drive. We are in the Masai Mara of Kenya. My name is David. Welcome aboard to a very own safari, live from the African bush. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got a lioness here. It's lying on some couch grass and besides some elephant grass on a very windy afternoon here in the Masai Mara of 24 degrees or 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And this lioness belongs to the pride of lion that we call the River Pride. Remember, we are live and we love questions. And you can always send your questions to #WildEarth on Twitter or at FC in the comment section of the YouTube chat channel. For the kids, you can do the same, and you can use kids' questions at wildearth.tv. My name is David, and managing the camera today is Bungay. And we're very lucky this afternoon to start with this one lioness that I've been looking for the last few days. And as I said out, she's up and looking at us, and if you have noticed very carefully, the grass here is very green. And she is very clever lioness. She is laying ambush to any prey that would come here to have a drink. Now, Bunga is going to show you the stream we are close to, and I might be surprised because I thought it's only one lioness. I'm not sure on the left of that elephant grass there. There's another lioness. I've been seeing one since I got here. Maybe there's a backside of another lioness there. And if this will be the case, I'll be having two lionesses. Aha. Yes. This is two, surprisingly. I never saw this one. I just saw the one that was in the open. But now these are two members of the River Pride. And now both of them are here for a reason, as I just said, because if you look carefully, we got some stream of water here, and they know some animals may come to drink. And that way, they will lay ambush and catch themselves some prey. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming from multiple locations in Africa, and we'll be taking you to one of them.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is indeed one of the other locations in Africa. We're down here in South Africa at Djuma Game Reserve, and you have some wonderful ellies. Gotta love some elephants. Hi, everyone. It's me, Trishala, and we're joined today by the artistic stylings of none other than BK on camera. Yes, and we're here at the dam, actually, much like David was, by some water, hoping that these elephants may go down to have a drink, but it looks like they already have. You can see that they're a little bit caked with mud, and now they're just enjoying themselves in a bit of shade, and that's because it is warm, to say the least, out here. It's about 35 degrees Celsius, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and they've got a good spot there. They're on the other side of the dam wall, and they're just chomping away. There's only about 3 down there. There was quite a large herd down here a little bit earlier, but most of them seem to have moved off, but these guys have not. Now, apart from the ones on that side, there is one in front of us in the dam wall, but I wonder if you will even be able to see it. Can you see it yet? Can you see it? It's very well hidden. Look at how well that gray works. A big boulder in the little bits of green that are starting to emerge. Lots of Burchell starlings that you might hear squawking away as well. Everybody trying to get a little bit cooler by the water holes.
Greetings everyone. Welcome to the Masai Mara of Kenya. We have elephants that just come from a mud bath here. My name is Tim, and behind camera we have Big James. It's that time of the day when elephants are cooling off. Look at these guys. They've just come from a mud bath. Very interesting to see. Now, during the day when it's hot, elephants will prefer to come into a water hole where they'll sprinkle their bodies with mud. We have a split herd here. We have elephants to the right, where I think the metric is just holding them off from these guys. I think they also might cross the road to go to the other side to meet up with the rest of the herd. Now look at that elephant to the left. They are walking. She has got some very awkward looking tusks, all facing outwards. The elephant tusks are modified upper incisors, just like our teeth. Sometimes, like humans, elephants also get dental problems. So this is so interesting to see, and one of the main idea how to ID an elephant. So these elephants, I've watched him and I've known him for quite some time over the years. It's easy for one to recognize elephants by looking at the tusk, the shape of the ears, and also the forehead. She's a very well-known matriarch. You can see how she's flapping to cool off. And the other elephant behind him was scratching off on that tree. That calf is a teeny tiny one. As they're enjoying to graze, he will be jumping into another safari jeep.
That's right. I mean, we have seen lions once in a while hunting baby elephants. It's not unusual. Now, this particular female stood up after she had apparently some elephants from a distance. I'm not sure what she thought they were. But if you look at her, as I said earlier, she's scanning and she's just looking. Very clever to be where they are, because they know at one point some herbivores and most likely some prey might come and have a drink. My guess right now would be buffaloes. The closest animals I can see, like the direction she is looking at, there's a very huge herd of buffaloes. See how she's looking? And you can tell she has all the intentions to hunt. Ronald, how are you? And you're asking how long is a lion's lifespan? It depends from individual to individual, but we normally guess anything from 12 years to 17 years, Ronald, is the estimate or is the lifespan of lions. And apparently, the lionesses live a little bit longer than the lions. The females, 2-3 years more than the males. In this particular pride, we got one lioness that got 4 cubs, and she got half a tail, and I'm thinking most likely it could be this one that's looking to me, or looking the other way, of the 2 lionesses that I got here. And definitely something she can see. The only thing, or the only prey can see from where she is, are Cape buffaloes. But you never know. Lions have been known to do that. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to you live.
We have a teeny tiny elephant here. I think this might be below 1 year. So how to really recognize and tell if an elephant calf is below 1 year? We call them the underwalkers. Before they get to the age of 1, they're always in the height of their mother's belly. Hence the name underwalkers. Look at how funny looking guy. Just went down to eat the grass with his mouth there. At this age, they're not yet aware of how to use the trunk. He has to bend down and eat with the mouth. Until the age of maybe 3, that's when they'll be able to grasp and get hold of use the trunks. Now, as she keeps on doing that, they also learn from watching the elders and the cousins and the brothers within a herd. So if he comes across his cousin from the same age, what they do, they always play fight, sometimes trunk wrestling, which gives them a future success when they grow up. He's gone down again, now following mom. They also learn from watching what the older ones are doing. But no one has been doing that. But since he can't use the trunk quite well, that is why he's bending down to eat and grasp grass from the mouth. So cute, indeed. Look at how muddy he looks. That is a protective layer, cover that will protect these pachyderms from biting mites and ticks, and also the sun. I like how the tusk of that mom is facing outside.
It's such an exceptionally hot day, which I'm sure all the other safari guides have said, that the animals are going to be at the watering holes. And there we have at least 2 different species that you can see, but I can hear a whole bunch more. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me as usual is Odie, and we are here at Pridelands Conservancy, which is part of Tswalu Game Reserve and the Greater Kruger National Park. Shall we have a closer look at those wonderful animals? It's actually really nice to see two of the biggest mammals that we have here in Africa. Of course, the heavyweight champion goes to the elephant, but this is still a young elephant bull. And then, of course, the tallest of them all, standing up on a hill, making himself even taller, is a giraffe feeding on a nice green boerbean tree. And that is a big bull. That's pretty much as big as a giraffe is going to get in South Africa. But it is such a cool scene. Look at that. It's really awesome. I love the fact that in the hotter days, so coming into the summer months, all we have to do is drive around and visit all the watering holes, and we'll find an abundance of wildlife. James, I'm so glad that you enjoy spending time with the elephants. It is indeed a splendid way. I'm sure you've noticed by now, or hopefully you've been watching continuously, you'll know that I particularly enjoy spending pretty much every single minute of every day with the elephants. But it's just the bulls for now. There was a breeding herd in Lovu Dam, but we just thought, let's just change it up a little bit. Let's come and see what else is happening. And we're at Leopard Dam. For a change. But he's already been swimming. I think this fella's had the whole pool to himself for most of the afternoon. You can't see it right now, but don't stress. There is one elephant bull that's just joined, and I think what will happen is when the other bull decides to go into the water, I reckon this fella's going to go in for a second time, because he doesn't seem like he wants to leave at any moment. There we go. There's the other bull, completely dry. Are you starting with a drink of water, or are you just going to go ahead and toss mud all over yourself? No, straight into a mud bath. It is so warm, and it's supposed to be even hotter tomorrow. So I think for the weekend, we will be in for lots of elephant action, which is really good. I'm going to have to test this out at some point and smear mud all over my body and see if it helps with the sunburn. Perhaps I'll take some mud and paint a shape on my leg and then leave it for a whole day and then see if I've got a tan line. It could be quite interesting. See how effective of a sunscreen it is. All the animals seem to use it, so it must work. Otherwise, I don't think they would be doing it. And there he is. He's a curious fella. He's gone over to the other bull now, probably to say hello and to establish that this is his watering hole.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is a beautiful afternoon here at Tswalu Kalahari. Not too warm. And it's always good when you looking at baby cheetahs. Just by the way, my name is Maurits. Behind the camera, as always, we've got David. So we've got beautiful cheetah cubs. We're only seeing two at the moment, though. The third one might be lying with mom just there at the back. We can't see mom at the moment, but we did see her a little bit earlier. Obviously, we don't want to move too much with them, just relaxing at the moment. There where you can see the cubbies now. Just to the left and in the thick stuff. Mom is lying there. I saw her when we were approaching. But I'm pretty sure cub number 3 is now possibly, but just lying there by her also. So we just had a comment from Ladybird. They are so cute. Ladybird, you are absolutely right. Adorable. And they're just getting better, now that they are growing up a little bit more, they're getting a bit of personality also. So just the cutest little things. We've been following them now for almost 4 weeks since we've seen them the first time, and it's just been an amazing journey to see how these little guys have started growing up. I can't say they've grown up because they're definitely not grown up yet. But getting more and more cute every single second. Beautiful little guys. But yeah, like I said, I think sibling number 3 is possibly there with mom, maybe drinking a bit of milk or something like that. And these two are just enjoying. I can't say they're enjoying the view because I'm pretty sure they're looking at us. I don't know if they're enjoying looking at these ugly monsters so much. However, very relaxed. They've grown used to our presence now over the past couple of weeks, and it's really a breath of fresh air to see how they just don't care about us. You can see the one there at the back is he's not even looking anymore. Yeah, guys, very, very fluffy, and quite important for them to be so fluffy at the moment. Just because, during a cooler night, that extra fluff is just going to keep them a little warmer. So, helps with almost like a blanket effect, keeping the body heat inside for longer so that they don't get cold during a night when mom's maybe not around or so. Also, we have spoken about this in previous sections, but if for those of you who's just seeing them for the first time now, that white fluff that they've got on top of their back also acts almost like a camouflage type of vibe. When they say that with them having that white on top, they look very much like a honey badger. And for those of you who have seen a honey badger or who has encountered them, they don't mess around. So a lot of, even like a lion, not always keen on getting close to a honey badger. So when they see these little guys and they think honey badger immediately, they might even move off. So yeah, we're going to spend a little bit more time with them, see if they want to wake up and start playing. If so, we're definitely going to show you guys that.
A bright idea to spend more time with the Cheetah Cubs, because I'm also doing the same with my two lionesses. One of the females repositioned herself, and now she has put a proper concentration into what could be a possibility of maybe dinner tonight. Where she was, I thought she was being blocked by that tall elephant grass that you're seeing there. So she has moved to a little raised vantage point, and you can tell from her body language she's looking at something. For those of you who could be joining us now, this is the River Pride, and when they're all together, there are 4 females. They got 4 cubs and a Pride male called Blondie and a youngster sub adult male with them, who I've not seen for the last 2 days. Martin, how are you today? And you are wondering how long a lion can go without eating. You'll be surprised. As much as it depends from one individual to another, we have seen lions going even up to 2 weeks without eating. But sometimes in between, Martin, they'll always pick small little bits to keep them going. They are very energy efficient, and we've found them many times just drinking water and just staying without anything. You know, Martin, unlike maybe other predators like wild dogs or hyenas, lions are not very successful hunters. Maybe 3 out of 10, again, depending on individuals, is what you can say 30% is their success rate. The last, I would say, meal that I had seen with this particular pride was a huge buffalo that 3 females of this pride brought down a buffalo by themselves. Good, Yon, bum. Stand up, gonna move to your sister. So the direction she is moving is where the sister is. Let's see what message she might want to go and pass to the sister. And as I said, in this particular pride, there are 4 cubs, and they'll be very happy if one of the females will bring them out to be seen to be playing. That's the sister there. And what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to sit tight with these lionesses right here. And remember, this is a live and interactive safari.
Look at what we have there. It's the giraffe. He's so tall, and he's got his head stuck right into the burbeen tree. You can see he's munching away on the leaves, and I think once he realizes that there are some flowers close by, I wonder this tree is called a weeping blood bean, and the flowers have got so much nectar in that it drips everywhere. So it'll be a nice sugary treat for this giraffe. But I can't see if he is indeed eating the flowers. It's a bit difficult to see. It's quite dark in there. But I'm sure that he won't be able to resist. Giraffe are known to eat flowers. Oh, it must be quite nice as well to finally find a little bit of shade, even if it is just your head. I know what that's like. And he's munching away very quickly. And he's lucky because this tree doesn't have any thorns or spines on it, and the leaves aren't particularly filled with tannin. I'm sure he'll be able to feed on it for a nice long time before having to move away. Obviously, trees and different types of vegetation have got various mechanisms to try and slow the rate at which animals will browse on them, because otherwise they just devour an entire tree. So some of them leaves get bitter, and some of them, of course, end up tasting not very nice. I think it's, sorry if I mispronounce the name, Relatia. You've said, I bet that giraffe feels short standing next to the tree. Yes, that's why it said to stand on top of the termite mound. Oh, relaxing, M. My apologies. I'm hard of hearing in my old age. So you can see that the giraffe is now standing right on top. So even though they are really, really tall and they've got these long tongues that they can project out of their mouths and use that to bring in the leaves, it does help when you have got a bit of an advantage to stand on something higher. But it's not uncommon for boerbeens and jackalberries and nyala trees. There's a whole bunch of others that are notorious for growing out of termite mounds. Typically with the fungus growing termite mounds, what you will also notice with them is they will have some kind of underground water fairly deep down, and these trees specialize and they need to tap into that underground water. So it's kind of like there was a termite mound there, and now because of the animals and the water, it's eroded a fair amount too. I don't know if it's still active, and all the animals have been kind of walking around on it. But perfect little pedestal for that giraffe to step on. Oh.
More elephants here at Djuma Game Reserve. Watering holes are just the best places to hang out. Not just for us to watch the animals, but also for the animals. It's lovely. They're going to pass in front of us. Look at this little one. Just gorgeous. Remember, guys, this is your safari, so please use the hashtag WildEarth and chat to us. Ask us your questions, give us your comments, and we can all have fun. Look at this girl. Bits of the mud has dried, bits are still wet. This little one is a little bit wetter. Look at that. Looks like she's thrown cement on herself. And off they go. In this type of heat, elephants will not just be looking to have a drink at a waterhole, but you'll find that you'll see them around many, and even if they have some mud on them, they'll go to a waterhole to put some more mud onto their bodies. And those little cracks on their skin holds moisture really well. So having a wet body and then mud on top of it, or sand on top of it that becomes mud, kind of secures that moisture in, keeping them cooler for longer. Even though they may end up a little bit funny looking. Hi, Avi, you're 7 years old. Thank you so much for asking us a lovely question. You'd like to know how old elephants get in the wild. African elephants can actually, or are recorded to be a little bit, will die at a younger age than Asian elephants. Asian elephants seem to go up into the 80s, but with African elephants, we're just going to move around while I talk to you, Avi. African elephants The most is about 65 years or so. But out in the wild, there are lots of things that all animals have to be aware of. Maybe they don't have enough food, maybe they don't have enough water, maybe they get an injury. And that's why it's so important when you ask the question, you said in the wild. And in the wild, for African elephants, you're looking at anything between 50 and 65. All right, let's actually go around this way because they're going to head south. Although it is possible to get an African elephant that may go into its 70s, it is not very common. And that's because they have teeth and sets of teeth. And after those teeth are gone, they're kind of like just gums. So at that point, they can't eat very much. And then, of course, they wither away and they can die.
So alrighty guys, you can see they visibly relaxed now. One is sleeping already. Very, very cute little fluff balls. The other one just every now and again keeping an eye on us. And you know, earlier I said we've been following them now for 4 weeks. It's been so impressive seeing how from that first day when we found them, how they were stumbling over their feet and not really being sure about, you know, where to put which foot when they're walking and so on, to where they are right now, actually quite mobile. Not to the point yet where mom takes them everywhere where she goes, but very, very sure-footed, well, much more than what they were 4 weeks ago. And it's just amazing to see how, I mean, if we think about ourselves, it takes us most of the time 18 months to just start looking like we want to crawl. So Jackie just had a question, at what age do these cubs start eating meat? And Jackie, typically at around 3 months is when you'll find them starting to join on the kills when the mom, you know, has made a kill. So she's going to still hide them for a little bit like now, in spots where she can, you know, I wouldn't say guarantee their safety, but where she feels like they're going to be safe when she's gone. So at the moment, still purely just mother's milk that they're going on. And then typically you'll find them more or less around 3 months starting to join her and feeding a little bit on the meat and so on. Sometimes you'll find them doing so sooner, depends on the individuals, depending on how, you know, quickly they develop. Some take a little bit longer, some take a little bit shorter, but normally we find the cubs starting to join on kills around, let's say, 2.5 to 3 months, where they'll actually start nibbling on a kill and so on. But very much still at that point dependent on their mom's milk to, you know, grow and do all of those things. That's basically going to be like sweets for them at that point, just having a little bit of meat here and there. At around, I'd say around 4 or 5 months, then you'll find them actively eating quite a bit of meat. And then that's when the mom's job actually get a little bit more difficult, because then she's going to have to provide not only for her, you know, at the moment she's just catching small things to, you know, keep her going and keep her milk production going so that she can feed the little ones. But as soon as they also start feeding on meat, then she has to start catching larger things, or more frequently find prey animals and hunt them so that the little ones can also eat on that.
It should be very similar to lion cubs. Anything 2 months to 3 months? once they start getting what we would call milk teeth, they'll also start eating meat. Now, one lioness left, and I was left with this one, excuse me, that I had not seen from the word go. And you can tell, as it's very typical of lions, they take very big or heavy naps. We have always had a misconception that it's only the males that sleep a lot when we look at the lions, and we end up calling them the kings of the jungle. But apparently, the females also, with the right conditions, will sleep the same. And no wonder you can see this girl here. She's panting and dreaming away. Where we are from elementary school, you're wondering what animals do the big cats would love to eat. I'll tell you, it would range from animals as big as buffaloes, giraffes, I'm sure you know them, and elands. Sometimes they come to small animals. I'm talking of zebras, tortoises, or the wildebeest. But you'll also be surprised that these cats also love to eat small, I'm talking of small animals. Small animals, I'm talking of the size of, for example, dik-diks. Dik-diks are this big, and they like to eat other antelopes called Thompson gazelles, little bigger, Grant's gazelle, little bigger. But also, apart from those small antelopes, they also hunt birds. So it always depends on the situation or what is available. Any opportunity that comes for these predators, and most for lions, they will go for it. But the very largest prey or animals that they would hunt will be the Cape buffaloes or the giraffes. See how sleepy she is? She might be there for like another 2 hours until maybe it cools off, and then they group together, all the lionesses in this particular pride, and then they're going to make a decision. We need to hunt, and then they'll start surveying and they'll start looking what is possibly they gonna hunt. As I said earlier, this pride, one of the lions, got 4 cubs, so I'll be waiting to see if I'm lucky if they're going to come. As always, remember, we're coming to you live, and this is an interactive safari. Sorry, we are back again with me, and if I am going to be very lucky, we're going to see one of the lionesses that has cubs bring them here. There are 4, and my guess is they're anything between 2 to 3 months. Now, lionesses do what we call allo suckling, and lions are very social cats. Unlike all the other cats, what would happen here? If, for example, the mother goes away and she goes to hunt or she goes to feed, what would happen? The sister or a first cousin to the mother is going to nurse the small cubs. Sometimes the lionesses will do that, and the particular lioness is doing that. If it's not I would say the biological mother of those cubs, the whole idea is for her to enhance her genes to those cubs. Now, we're looking at this lioness here very carefully, and what I want to find out if she is the one that got half tail. And if she is the one, she is the mother of those 4 cubs. I'll just continue being patient here for quite some time.
So all the elephants are now starting to arrive at Leopard Dam. This one is a rather large one, and I'm just trying to have a look to see if it is my friend Kumo, one of the larger elephant bulls. So I'm looking for my binoculars, because the way that I identify him is by a scar that he has between his tusks on his trunk, and then also he has a bit of a lump on his rear end. But now he's not turning around. And there's also a breeding herd that's on their way, which is very exciting. So I think that this is all going to be fantastic once everybody arrives. It's nice that they all got the memo that we were going to be here waiting for them. Okay, elephant, off you go. The water is calling you. Go and have a mud bath. I just really want to see your rear end. Things I say while on safari. It is Kumo. He's got a little lump, looks like it's, I don't know. No, I'm not convinced. He needs to just stare at me in my eyes and then I can see. Yeah, it does look like a little bump up on the left, but it looks like it's subsiding up top to the left. Yeah, that thing. It used to be a lot more raised, but perhaps it's going away. I'm going to have to come up with new ways to identify this elephant. Wonderful. He's properly big in comparison to the other bulls. Right. It looks like we're seeing the same thing twice, eh? A bit of deja vu, except those two younger elephant bulls that we had have moved on off, and an elephant twice their size has replaced them. The giraffe, of course, still in the background. He's just eating underneath that burbine tree. Now, I think that this is one of our favorite elephant bulls that we see on a regular basis, but we'll see if he does turn towards us. It's just funny how nobody is coming in for a drink today. They all seem to be too worried about the sun and their skincare, and almost immediately covering themselves with mud. I don't think you can hear the splashing, the sound that when it makes when it hits an elephant. That was my terrible attempt at trying to mimic the sound of mud coming out of an elephant's trunk and hitting the side of its body. I probably won't become a special effects sound artist. That's not my calling, but that's okay. Can't be good at everything. Mine is a very short list, of course. But anyways, so look at those long legs on the right-hand side there. That's so funny. I wish the giraffe would come down for a drink so we could have a nice size comparison. It was something that I really enjoyed about when we were guiding in the Mara, and I'm sure David and Tim will agree, is that you get so many different species of animals all interacting and feeding in the same area. So it's quite cool to be able to compare sizes, and I think it makes it easier for you at home to understand how big these animals really are, especially if you can put a vehicle in the mix as well, because we all have an understanding of how big certain cars are, and then you can gauge from there. But he is so big. Hello, boy. Oh no, that poor tree again. You can see the mud line on it. When he rubs up against it, he's going to start hitting the nests. Those on the bottom floor, the buffalo weavers, are really going to have to watch out. But of course, starting with the mud on his face, on the sides of his body, and then right underneath his belly, in between his legs. He's now going for sort of very muddy water rather than the hard mud. Come on, go in for a little bit of a swim. You know you want to. But I know a couple of you are quite excited to see my absolute favorite, cheekiest elephant. She is on her way.
It's always beautiful and nice watching elephants when they're interacting. We have the herd of wildebeest here. They seem nothing going much, but still grazing slowly. We have slight droplets of rain. Could be keeping them from not going to the river. A little while earlier this morning, we had herds gathered by the river, but they didn't cross over. I think also because of the rain. These herds of wildebeest are known to smell rain for up to 50 kilometers away. So when it rains like this, it means that the fresh grass that grows around here, they will get that advantage of eating that. And also, the grass gets a lot of water, so maintaining these herds around this area. They also become playful and jump up and around. Like we can see right now, some of the herds are just running up and about. So these herds will be around here for quite some time. About a week ago, there was nothing here. It was all quiet. The herds had moved further south, almost to the border between Kenya and Tanzania. But it rained, and then these herds came back. So this happens a lot at this time of the year. We have lions that are in that forest cover, and we hope they might find something. Earlier on this morning, we had a big commotion between the Ololo Pride and a lion that is not of this territory called Split Nose. So these herds are walking back forth. I think it's raining over on the other side, which I think it's attracting them to walk over to the other side. You can see the little calf very much enjoying and being playful. Now look at the sky there on the Olololo escarpment. Beautiful. See, the clouds are heavy and it seems like it's pouring there. So, indeed, thank you. It's super beautiful. I think the beauty is also attracting the wildebeest to run and witness. Wow, look at them running. They're fast antelope. These are fast antelopes also. When sometimes lions chase them, I've seen them miss a lot of times because of how fast they can run.
These guys here, if you can manage to spot it. Can you see that? The spotted eagle owl. Tim was chatting to you about the speeds of wildebeest. Spotted eagle owls rely on their stealth, much like all owls. Silent predators of the skies. Now this is in the area in the Mulwati where we've seen the pair spotted eagle owls in the past. And I'm no expert on facial recognition of particular individuals, but for some reason this one looks different to me. Of course, it's difficult to tell, especially with the branch across its face. But this one looks a little bit smaller to me, and a little bit skinnier than the two that we usually see. But I haven't seen them in a long time. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's just the angle. Everyone says, oh, well spotted. Well, then that must go to BK. I don't know. You can tell me your thoughts on whether you think it's different, but it's so difficult to tell. Either way, we're glad to see them in this. Whoa! Look at that. Whoa, that was some proper neck acrobatics that went on there to bend backwards. Caitlin, you'd like to know, how do you tell the difference between a male and female owl? It's quite different. I mean, it's quite difficult because there isn't much difference. Basically, they're alike, and the males are just slightly larger than the females. So it can be very, very difficult to tell them apart. Of course, if you see one laying an egg, that's gives you a good idea, but I mean, how often do you see that? Look at it, eyeing us out. I don't know what it is, but the ear tufts look different to me, and the actual shape of the individual than the one that we're used to seeing. But it's probably unlikely, considering that we're in very near proximity to where the pair had nested last year. And it's quite likely that the same pair is back here. Unless this is some rogue individual that's just scoping out nests. Or nest spots. Their laying dates kind of peak around this time, August to October. So we can look forward to, hold thumbs and hope that we can get a little owl to watch grow and keep tabs on, because they are highly amusing and very, 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 very cute. I'm certainly looking forward to it. But like I said, we can only hope, and we'll only know once the little bugger arrives. And we'll all look forward to that.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve. Well, welcome this afternoon. We're here. The temperature for today is 35 degrees, 95 Fahrenheit. It's quite warm. As you can see, also a butterfly eagle sitting right in the middle of that branches, trying to get itself a shade. This is how the days be. So I'm Andrew on camera this afternoon, Neil. So this is how we begin. Start with the day, look for the animals. Beautiful that most of the birds, they also feel like we feel. Being in a shade, it's part of their activity where they sit under the shade, but also listen for any sound. Where we know for sure, butterfly eagle, it's one of the eagles that carry on during the heat of the day, fly right above, hunt for its prey, and sometimes they compete with the vultures, where there's a carcass. We're here, I'm not sure, since we got here, and looks was a pair of them. The male actually flew off. We're sitting right here with the female, and this is how we tell. There are a lot of white on their wings as well. And of course, you know, it's busy looking around. I'm not sure if it's something this eagle's seen around here, but a lot of time then you would see vulture also patching up, which it was nothing around. So it was only that two pair of butterfly. So we will carry on, look to see what could be around here. Maybe something died. Beautiful. So I don't know if the...
So Susan has not arrived just yet. She's taking her time. But we've got some other bulls. There's a youngster. He doesn't want to get... Oh, no, he has got his feet wet. But he's stretching out so far with his trunk to find the cleanest of clean water. What's he doing over there? They're all so patient. There's like no rush. So he's saying, it's not very nice water to drink. I'm going to splash you around before I take a sip. They're so funny. I always think when elephants, if they could speak like how we as humans speak, would have a very posh accent. Well, most of them anyways. And they definitely drink their cups of tea with their pinkies out, 100%. They're very sophisticated animals. The giraffe, however, has not been deterred just yet by the elephants, but I reckon that might change. He's still standing there quite comfortably, but once the breeding herd moves in, then you're going to have lots of little elephants and some bulls who think that they're big and brave, and I reckon maybe even Susan will give this giraffe a run for its money, but we'll see what happens. See, there's a bull. That bull now is having a stare off. It's difficult to see because he's behind the tree, and the giraffe is sort of just saying, yes, you rang? What would you like from down there? I mean, that's very brave. Because that giraffe is a good meter tall already with the hill that it is on. You are a little elephant. You stand no chance. But anyways, you'll just try and size him up and flare his ears out and make himself look even bigger. He's still quite small now. He'll just pretend that he showed that giraffe who's boss. I'm pretty sure I saw that giraffe stick its tongue out at one point. I would too. And I don't think it was just a coincidence. But nibbling away. He's been feeding on this tree for quite some time, and most times when we come to the dam and there are giraffe here, this is the tree that they typically prefer to eat. I think it's also because there's nice new green leaves on this tree, whereas the other leaves, if there are any, are all old and don't taste very nice. So he is going to just devour as many as he can. I don't think the birds that are trying to feed on the flowers will be particularly happy with him pushing his head through there every now and there. There's definitely lots of sunbirds and starlings, and I thought I maybe heard an oriole at one point. We'll be there feeding on the flowers. But one of the big cows has just come into the dam now, so this should bring the rest in. Gremlins General, the answer to your question is yes. And if you want to know what Gremlins General asked, they asked if an elephant could rear onto its back legs. They can indeed. It's a task, a difficult one, of course. Here in South Africa, you don't very often see elephants standing on their back legs. However, if you go to the Zambezi Valley, so if you go into Mana Pools in Zimbabwe or into... Oh, for giraffe, not elephants, my apologies. But if you go to those areas, then you see elephants standing on their back legs often. But giraffe, I have never seen a giraffe rear onto its back legs intentionally. But what a giraffe will do, and maybe you can count this as rearing, it's up to you, is that a defense mechanism that giraffe will use to chase away predators, especially females that have got young calves, will actually lunge forward and pick their front legs up and chop. So I don't know if you're familiar with horses and you've ever seen a horse chop with its front feet. When they do that, at some point, it almost looks like they've only got 2 feet on the ground, but they don't like rear up like a horse would kind of rear up. So I'm going to say no for that. They don't really need to do anything like that. But like I said, when they do aggressively that behavior towards predators, then maybe you can count it as them standing on their back legs for like a millisecond, but not really though. Just something interesting though. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous of giraffe. Like, I loved walking and doing bushwalks around giraffe. It's so fascinating. It's really interesting. But even though they don't eat meat, and they obviously just are browsers and eat leaves and flowers and things like that, they're very dangerous creatures. And you would not want to get anything, or you wouldn't want to get in the way of a mother and her calf. There have been some unfortunate events with humans and giraffe, and often ends up with people not surviving. So you really have to be careful. Lions, of course, I'm sure could tell many tales of injuries, and some of them, again, even fatal, trying to take down a giraffe. There we go. This young bull is now, he's been feeding near the vehicle on the other side of this termite mound, on the knobthorn, and now he's going down to drink. I can't believe the herd is taking so long to get here. I thought with one of the bigger cows making their way in, they 100% would have marched on in. But that's not the case. Apparently food is very important. I suppose it is very important. It is the most important thing, especially at this time of the year. Can't waste a minute, although I would waste lots of time making sure I was nice and cool, and covering myself in mud and swimming. I probably wouldn't be a very good elephant. But it has been a fantastic afternoon. It's been really, really lovely. Lots of animals everywhere. We're so spoiled with all this wildlife that we've got coming around us. And I don't think that it's going to stop. I think it is going to continue at all the different locations that we have been live at today. But that's what happens on these wonderful hot days. I'm just going to keep sitting here enjoying the wildlife.
We have a lioness from the Olololo Pride. she's just come out of the thicket and she's watching over some wildebeest that are running over in the distance. I'm suspecting that the sisters are not far from here, and while these other gnus are running towards that direction, she might decide to walk over. Seems like she had a tired morning. That's why she's coming out to rest. See how she's panting heavily. Could be maybe she missed out on a hunt not long ago. See, she's watching over some zebras and some wildebeest. By doing that, she's also cleaning her toes. A little sneeze there. See how she blends in. From a distance, you can't really tell if there's a lion there. Now, earlier this morning, these lions displaced or chased out a male by the name of Splitnose. These lionesses can be sometimes vicious, even though they have to submit to males. But if a rival or an intruder gets into their territory, they are chased off. This is super exciting to see and watch. Now, as we wait here, we're going to follow her closely and see if she'll join the sister or maybe they might go for a hunt. Why, thank you so much for your question. Do lion cubs ever hunt with their mothers? No, lion cubs are too small to accompany their moms for a hunt. The only time that lions will accompany their moms for a hunt is when they're about 9 months old. So from the time of birth, which is when lions have given birth after a period of 3.5 months, they will later take them, go give birth in our den, and then introduce them at about 6 months, and then stay with them for all that time until when they're 9 months to introduce them for the first hunt. So no, cubs don't accompany their moms for a hunt. They're too young and too fragile to accompany their mom for such a mission. This mom is walking away and not quite sure where she's going, but lions can hear from a long distance and she knows definitely there's some wildebeest approaching. So I'm going to wait here or follow her slowly and see where she's going to.
You never know, Tim. The best thing is just to hang around. And not once I've seen lionesses surprising me. The very moment I think they have given up hunting or they have no idea of hunting, you'll always see them run and catch something. Well, I got a different hunter here who hunts very differently from the lions, and this is a black-headed heron. Now, look at her neck. Of course, I don't want to anybody thinking that this could be a snake, but that's how they do, very similar to what kingfishers do. You've always seen kingfishers moving their heads up and down, which is called bobbing. And the whole idea, she's definitely looking at a prey. She has to be sure how far is the prey, the size of the prey, and occasionally how safe or dangerous is the prey to her. So when you see her moving her neck like that, backwards, forwards, sideways, see that? She'll see the prey and then decide. I mean, apparently these herons will always prey on, say, mice or rats, amphibians, frogs, toads, but they also catch snakes. and they're always very patient. She'll continue doing that until she is satisfied, and then I want to wait here a few more minutes and see if she'll be lucky as we take you to another location.
Look at this little elephant. Hello. You are so adorbs, as some of you might say. For the adults, adorable is also acceptable. But it has completely covered itself in mud and had an absolute time rolling around in there. Close your eyes when you roll in that mud, though. You don't want to get all that dirt in there. You can obviously see it's gone head first into the mud. You're going to get stuck, and then you're going to cry, and then you're going to cause panic around the herd. You can see it has got its bum in a little bit of a wallow. Yes. Make sure you get both sides. I have to tell you what we saw earlier today. It was something that I will remember for the rest of my life. There was an elephant that did a headstand, as elephants normally do. They go face first into the mud, especially the younger kind. This elephant was on its head. I mean, not doing a proper headstand, but you get what I'm talking about. And the next moment, it started defecating while it was basically upside down. I was amazed. For many reasons, but also gravity. Like that I was surprised. But it was really funny, and I'm sad it was just before the show started, unfortunately, but I did have a good laugh at that. I thought that, you know what, people have got all sorts of life goals. That was very impressive. Not that's something that I want to take up, but I was just quite impressed. So every single day elephants blow my mind with something new. What can you smell now, little elephant? I always think with those little elephants coming into this world, it must be outrageous for them, with all the different smells that they pick up. I mean, their sense of smell is so sensitive. Can you imagine being a new little animal in this world and probably having the best sense in the bush? Must be quite cool. Here comes Susan. Hi, Susie Q. There she is on the right. What looks like her. Marching in. Is it her? Yeah, looks like her. It's always difficult to tell. Now there's lots of Susan lookalikes in the other herd. But I obviously know this particular herd quite well. They were here yesterday as well, doing the same thing. Are you going to go in and swim? No. Go help that little baby, Susan, quickly. She's such a busybody. She might go in there and take over parental duties from Mom. But we'll see the rest of the herd is slowly moving in. Yes, little one, are you still trying to learn how to use that thing on your face? Now, you're not supposed to kick it. I don't think that's what you're supposed to do with it, but I can see you are trying to pick up mud, learning. Shame it's using its foot to try and scoop up the mud, because I don't think it's quite got control of its trunk just yet and is able to sort of hold little bits and pieces. It's okay, you'll get there. You just do your rolling technique, whatever works for you. Look at you actually coating yourself much better. You've got a much thicker layer than everyone else. I think you're much more intelligent. Now, yes, you must remember to have a drink of water as well. No, not sure if he's going to put it in his mouth or you can just squirt it everywhere else. Okay, that's also fine. Leopard lover. I love these questions that I'm not really sure of the answer to. They're my absolute favorite. How long can an elephant's trunk get? I, again, am going to go and say that I think an elephant's trunk will vary in length depending on the individual because of genetics and all those types of things. Because I think I've got really short arms, thanks to my dad. I'm like a T-Rex. It's really ridiculous. I also now obviously just looked at how short my arms are and then I got self-conscious. But I mean, I think let's talk about an elephant bull. An elephant bull's trunk is going to be much longer. I mean, they're much larger than the females. I'm going to go ahead and say it must be at least 1.5 meters, maybe 1.8 meters in length. If you take it from where the sort of, where does this trunk start and when does it end? Okay, we obviously know where it ends, but where does it start? Do we say by the tusks, where the tusks come out? Should we use that? I mean, I'm going to say I'm probably as tall as that elephant that we're looking at now. Not as tall as her head, but where her tusks are. And I'm 172 centimeters. I think I'm 5'7" or something like that. Somewhere around there. I could be completely wrong. I think there'd be some interesting information that elephants that are in captivity, I think that they would have these records. It's obviously quite difficult to go out and just measure a whole bunch of wild elephants' trunks, but I reckon it's well over a meter, but I don't think it's quite more than 2 meters. Maybe that's exceptional for an enormous elephant bull that weighs about 6 tons. But they also get quite wide as well. I mean, the ones we're looking at are fairly young elephants and not fully grown. But if we find Kumo again, we'll have a look at the width of his trunk. It's rather large. You can definitely fit lots of water in that straw-like object that comes out of his face. Well, they're all going to drink over there. We're going to have to go around. Ian, I think the mud can affect the movement of an elephant, especially if it's slippery. Goodness gracious, have you ever seen an elephant on roller skates? Neither have I, but I would imagine that an elephant on a muddy surface, it would be something very much like that. So, to a point, if you hopefully we can see underneath an elephant's foot. It might be a bit tricky, but their feet are filled with it's almost like the tread on a tire. So you can see all the grooves and things and cracks as they start to get older. That sort of you get what I'm talking about. Sorry. And I think when that sort of fills up quite a bit with mud, it can be a bit slippery for them when they step on harder substrate. Maybe they do slip a little bit, but. We were talking a little bit about it this morning, about elephants sort of moving around and how much easier they have it having 4 feet. But if they were on 2, I think that they definitely slip after walking on the mud and land on their bottoms.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Masai Mara of Kenya. Look at what we have here, a lioness, and in the background we have... So my name is Tim, and behind the camera we have Big James. Now, a lioness, behind there we have lots of wildebeest running away. This is so exciting. So they've already detected or sensed her. She is keeping her eyes locked on the target, but seems like because she's already been seen, then the wildebeest are taking a turn away from her. This is so exciting because sometimes when they isolate themselves like this, yes, there's nothing else I can say. It's just wow. Yes. Remember, we're coming to you live. So for the young viewers, kids questions at WildEarth.tv, #WildEarth, and on your YouTube comment section at FC. Please send us your questions and we'll be ready to answer you as soon as possible. This lioness is being rained on. A good time to go for a hunt. Now when the rain is pouring, the smell of rain gets into the air. And that is an advantage, that is a plus for predators, because the prey cannot smell or get the scent from the lion. And so it's easy for them to advance. They don't love the rain, they don't like getting wet, but then it's an easy time to find food because they're not detected or not seen. Look at how they're running. It's easy for them to be cut across, and especially when it rains, their vision gets poor because if they run into the rain, then they'll not be watching or seeing from all directions. Now, when it rains in the open, these animals or the plains game turn around facing away from the wind direction where the wind or the rain is strong on, and that gives them away. The lioness is still focused, eyes on target. I'm sure she's picking on which one to isolate and which one to go for. The zebra is also staring away. I'm not sure what is on the other side. It seems they're just curious of what's happening. Yeah, they've decided to walk. A little earlier they were all running. But the stallions are so brave that they stop and watch and look around. If there's a predator, they alert the rest of the animals, and that is what the wildebeest prefer, walking in a mixed herd like this of zebra and wildebeest. She's turning around waiting for her sisters. Her sisters are not far. Remember, this is from the Ololola Pride. We have a few females. I can smell the rain, which is smelling so nice. Let's wait and see what these lions are going to do.
Oh, that's very exciting. With the rain starting up in the Mara, it could be the perfect camouflage. I say that, not really camouflage, for the lions to hunt. But anyways, still here with the heffalumps at Leopard Dam. This one has now decided to be super different and march on across the dam, so you can see how deep it is. It's obviously much bigger than in Ndlovu Dam. This is like an Olympic-sized swimming pool. And Ndlovu Dam at the moment is kind of just a little plunge pool. Maybe a bit more than a bit of a plunge pool. But all Ellies have gathered here in the sort of northeastern corner, maybe because there's a bit of shade, maybe the water's a bit cleaner, because, you know, they've had mud baths on the other side, so it's all stirred up. All sediment is everywhere. And here they'll probably just be sipping the water straight off of the top. Now, Elephant, are you going to come through and just chase everyone? We shall see what happens in a minute. I'm still so tempted to just hop on into a little flotation device and float around in there. I think the elephants would not be very impressed with me. Ah, yes, now we can hear all the elephants. Let's have a little listen. It's quite a nice sound. And then it goes deathly quiet as well when they stop drinking the water. You might even hear the eddies rumbling, all chatting with one another, telling stories. Susan probably starting nonsense, as she normally does. She's somewhere in there. I don't know why she doesn't want to come talk to us today. Perhaps that's a good thing. But most of the cows are just really just taking it easy. You can see how quiet she's gone and how still she's standing. Maybe just a quick siesta. I wonder if any of you watching are starting to fall asleep now. Perhaps I should start speaking in a soothing tone. That's not soothing though, that's just annoying. Sorry, I'll just speak in my normal voice. That's so cool. I was hoping we'd hear a bit more interaction, but because our audio is so good today, if they do start chatting amongst themselves, I will just abruptly go quiet. But no, it's for the greater good. It's also really pretty to have all these big leadwood trees lining this dam. They're enormous. I'm so excited to see Pridelands in summer. I mean, I saw it briefly the beginning of the year, but I didn't get to spend much time. Sorry, I'm too busy looking down at my monitor. You can see I'm hunched over at the moment so that my head doesn't get in the way of the shot. What you got? Oh, you're drinking water. I thought it was maybe playing with a stick. You can see the water kind of resembles chocolate milk more than anything. I don't think it tastes like chocolate milk though. They all seem to be growing very heavy eyes. But I don't know about you, but when I'm in the sun all day, and especially after these game drives, I'm exhausted. And I don't think it's because I think I'm working particularly hard. I literally just think the sun just takes it out of you. I'm surprised that elephants don't sleep more often than they actually do. I mean, if they sleep for 2 hours a day, I reckon that's a lot. Some elephants might even go a few days without sleeping. There's definitely lots of siestas happening, though, because they come to the dam, and we've seen it, and they just stand under the trees surrounding the eco-training camp. And I'm sure the elephants do the same thing here around Leopard Dam.
It's always nice seeing when Ellies are drinking. I just mentioned earlier how when it rains, the animals don't smell predators around. Now, because of the rain, they are unaware of approaching danger. The lionesses have advanced over to where these wildebeest and zebras are crossing at. So she has gone closer. Look at the zebras grooming there, unaware of the danger just is close to them. So she has to close the gap, and I'm sure the one that is unaware of her presence will get caught. But the zebras are slightly or maybe sensing some danger, but some unaware of her presence. They've not even smelled her. Look, there's a zebra that is doing a dust roll, and that can be a prime target. See the one rolling upside down? That can be a prime target. Luckily, the zebra has gone up. What a danger when you're close to the lions and do a dust roll. So the zebra is looking, but is not too sure. They've not seen her. Good thing there's no wind here. The only rain that is dropping, they can only smell that. So the lion has changed course. He's watching over the wildebeest. And I'm sure when they're Yeah, it's so nice when it rains over here. So she's already locked on some zebra that are grooming each other right now. So interesting. Now she has plenty of options, so she keeps on looking for a target. And after she locates the target, she quickly run towards her. This is so exciting, viewers. One of the most exciting sighting to witness. If she dares go for one, you will see how fast these lions advance. Yeah, super excited. Thank you. This is so exciting also for us here. Wow. Look at how many they've just walked past, and still the lion is there. So this is not easy. For lions to go closer to animals, they have to get closer, which makes them advance and surprise the prey. So when they close the gap, it becomes easy because that surprise, the lion will be already in full speed. And before the lions, the zebras or the wildebeest detect her, one already will be as good as that. Now look at them walking over. There's plenty of options, but you need Janet, thank you for your question. Could she catch one by herself? Yes, this is a fully grown lioness. She's so experienced, and she will go for a zebra or a wildebeest by herself. Unaware of their presence, look at how close they are. That is a good distance, so she needs to creep a little closer and then sprint. I can see a zebra fall there, and I think that might be a prime target for her. They're walking just closely, sheltering away from the rain because they're heading towards the rain direction, and that tells you that it blurs also their vision. So that is the reason why they're walking slowly. I tell you, they've not seen her. The camouflage is playing so well, and this means that to have camouflage in this kind of environment, it becomes easy for you to maneuver and also get food. The stallion there is suspecting something, but I'm sure he's not yet aware of the lion's presence. Look at how he's crouched, ears facing forward, meaning that the eyes on target. Just thinking about how to go about it. And in no time, maybe he might decide to go for one. Or maybe he might choose the last one, because there's lots here. And almost towards the end of these guys walking past her. So maybe he might choose the last one, or maybe the fall. Yeah, eyes locked on the fall. Because those are the ones that fall. They fall prey to these lions. So we had so many people coming to join the sighting. You can see some people enjoying also the sighting, but they're not aware that the lion is there. So, fellow viewers, this is so exciting to see. Even if it doesn't happen, then it shows you how it happens when you come across a kill. This is typically how lions walk closer to prey. Unfortunately, they've all passed. So if it doesn't happen now, it will not happen anytime soon. So she will need again to follow them. That zebra is unaware of her presence still, but watching around. So that was it. Let's wait and see what she'll do next.
Oh, Tim, I'm so envious. I have not seen the Olololo Pride for ages, and they were my favorites. I spent lots of time with them. But we've got another herd of elephants that have come in from the southern side of the dam, and a few of them have morphed into submarines, which is quite cool. Sorry for the branch in the way. We will try and reposition at some point and see if we can't get a better view of them. But I think we might have a couple of contenders for swimming today. I don't think that this is going to be the end of the elephant inflow. I think as the afternoon progresses, more and more might come. Maybe even some buffalo and some other characters. I'm waiting for one elephant in particular. Here she comes. Are you coming yet? She's being very impatient. Susan is standing by a mashatu tree, a nyala tree. She doesn't want to come this way. She's just happily feeding at the bottom. Jonathan, occasionally we will see hippos. There's been a hippo at this dam a couple of times, but a young bull that I think has been displaced. With the water holes drying up a fair amount, there isn't much room, and the dominant bulls are not so tolerant. But in terms of pods and family groups, not really. Sometimes at Ndlovu Dam as well, when it fills up a bit more. There's one which is right outside camp, so we have to be very careful. I have not seen a crocodile, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any. You must never go near murky waters. I always tell the students that, because sometimes they get a bit brave and they think, I've never seen a crocodile, there won't be one. And I'm like, well, you've only got one chance. So no crocodiles, but I know that in a little bit further up in Jajani and Baluli, they definitely do. We've got the big Olifants River, not too far from here as the crow flies. Definitely some monster crocs lurking in there, and there's absolutely nothing stopping them from traveling distances on land to get to a new water source. We have seen it many times. Back in the days, a few years ago of WildEarth, for a couple of weeks, we kept encountering one particular crocodile on bushwalks. So, yeah, That's something that you'd think you'd worry about. And we were nowhere near water. We were in between watering holes. So they can move and they will move if necessary. But the Olifants River holds a fair amount of water in it, so I think that they'll probably prefer that. Here we go, boys. Having a good time. Oh, this is cool now. Now the audio is going to be great. Sorry, Odie, I'm going to have to move back. Sorry, everybody. For 2 seconds, I just need to reverse. Just so that I can... Oh, ground the gears, Taylor. Break it, why don't you? Just going to give this cow and her calf a little bit more room. There we go. Gogo, hopefully that is enough space for you. There we go. So she's just moving along. You can see how she's smelling me. She's got her trunk turned towards me. Now, interestingly enough, the other elephants stopped here and put their trunks on the ground. She's not going to do what they did. But they stood for about 5 minutes. A big cow and her, I think there were 3 generations of calves, and they all stood around and they smelt on the ground. It was very interesting that she didn't pick up the scent that the others were very intrigued by. Odie, you should have waved. Did you see yourself in a reflection of the side mirror? There we go, everybody. There's Odie, his hand at least. Hey, girl. She's just taking her time. Off she goes to just rejoin the rest of the herd. All just feeding on the back. There's still actually a fair amount of grass around here. Okay, are you ready, Odie? I'm going to roll forward. And go. We're trying to roll the car forward without having to start it, so you just bounce a little bit, and then it seems to work. Now we're going to watch Susan, who's going to boss everybody off of her island. She does this on purpose. I think she's quite an attention seeker, from what I've noticed. There she is. She's standing next to the... Is it a Nyala? No, it's not even a Nyala tree. Why did I call it that? It's a Tamboti. Sorry, I got excited for a second. It's not. It's a Tamboti tree. But there she is, just behind the other elephant. Now, she hasn't left. It's like she's holding the fort down over there. Hi, naughty little elephant. Yes, you are going to slip. Now, Warren Chief, you've asked about what is Susan's identifying features. We'll have a look at them now when she comes towards us. That one's not Susan, but when she turns to face us, her tusks are quite tight around her trunk, if you will. They sort of turn in slightly and they hug her trunk quite tightly. And then on her left ear, she's got a tiny little hole quite high up as well. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to reverse again. Sorry, Odie. No, elephants! Why must you use the same path all the time? That's what elephants do, obviously. I just don't want to move too far because I want to just see. Look how Susan is there. She's not moving. That big bull is going to push her straight out of the way. I'm going to try and duck. Okay, I will duck. Oh, now he's saying hello to her. Bear in mind, the whole herd has moved off and she's just here with the boys now. Like I said, she really does enjoy the attention. This I'm quite excited about because these are all young bulls and they're normally quite curious. So they might come up and say hello. I will in a minute though, Odie, I'm sorry, you're going to have to sit up because I have to watch Susan. I can't be bent over like this. We know that she can be quite naughty. She's the dry one amongst the dark elephants. Hi, girl. Are you very interested in the boys today that you're going to leave us alone? Hello. Be nice. Be nice. Everyone is watching you. Don't misbehave and embarrass me, please. Not today. You can see she has been having a scratch against a tree, though. She's got like... Oh, cool. Sorry. I think you all saw my mouth drop as well. I love it. It's very cool. Like I said, I just have to watch her because she can be a bit naughty. And she misbehaves, but this elephant bull's just going to give her a tusk up the bottom. Right, get a move on. Also say hello to her. Yes, but he wants to go past, Susan. You're blocking the way. You're that person in the shopping mall, Susan. Don't. Don't start nonsense today. She's cheeky. Susan, I'm watching you. She's got no idea about personal space. She's very relaxed. You can see she's like got her eyes closed, her ears are flat, her trunk's on the ground. But don't come up to the car. I think she wants to touch the vehicles, not because she has a big boy, not because she wants to be aggressive. She's curious. She is so curious, but we can't let her cross this boundary, and we need to be quite firm with her. And I find if I take my eyes off of her, she's like a naughty child. If you say, don't touch the plug or don't eat that, as soon as you turned your back, they've put it in their mouth or they've stuck their fingers where they're not supposed to. So that's Susan for you in a nutshell. And you really just have to watch her, but she's not malicious. She's just very curious, and I think she's confused with all the hormones and things, that all the changes that I think she's going through at this time of her life. And I know I'm sorry for talking to her the way that I do. It makes me feel a lot better, and I definitely think she understands my tone. So she knows if I don't say no or stop it, and my tone changes a little bit, then she comes right up to the car, and I don't want her in my space. Like, it's uncomfortable. One day she came, stood right next to me, and I was like, nah, not for me. But as quick as the elephants were in the water having a swim, off they go to carry on and look for something to eat.
Beautiful. Elephants are what the animals who swim, especially when they swim or graze or move. It's so elegant animals to see. Here, back here, Djuma was sitting with the bride of Lion. This is the Ngala bride. The guests this morning have been seen in the area, but it looks like they haven't changed their location yet, and they're still under this shadow here, where there's no actually much of a shadow, just a little bit of a trees, dry trees, which are, look at these females trying to sniff up in the air. Could be that they're all scattered around here. The rest are all on the far distances. This is the only bride right close to us. So it looks like they're all kind of trying to figure it out. Probably when the sun go down, cool a bit, and they will probably go hunt. What it looks like there is the only little one that they're painting, because probably, I don't know, they eat something smaller during the day or also last night. I'm not sure, but they don't look all of them full here. So they're probably going to look for a hunting tonight. But they all look for me in a good condition, this Ngala bride. This is the bride that we always don't find anymore in this eastern. Yeah, indeed. I also agree that, we're so happy to have them. And you see where our location right now, Guari Pen, so it's actually close to the Torchwood boundary, Eastern Saxony. So for them to move far from the west, hit this far, it's been great. So I'm going to wait here, see what they do, or otherwise I'll move forward and look for something else.
I'm sure the Ngala pride, this is what they normally do sometimes. Now back to our all-over pride lioness. She is slowly creeping and advancing towards the zebras. The zebras are unaware of her presence. So she's taking advantage of the road, walking alongside the road, because she's actually in a ditch. The zebras cannot actually see her. So that is an advantage for her. As soon as the zebra carry on grazing, she closes the gap, advancing to where they are. So she's going to cross the road right now and walk closer and closer and closer. This is so exciting, guys, watching this, how lions do a hard, tough job to get prey. Whenever we see lion kills, we think that it's so fast. Everyone, I'm sure I'm also on the edge here, crossing my fingers for this lion to get something to eat. It's super exciting. Look at how she's walking. Look at the zebras. They're unaware. They're carrying on. They're still grazing, unaware of looming danger. So that tells you after the rains, they can't really smell the lion. Unless the zebras see her, there's no way they're going to smell her. So she has to go around and flush them. And because of the wind direction, I think that's the reason why she's heading farther down. Yes, she can't be seen because she's in a ditch, only raising her eyes to watch over. So she'll slowly pick her target and then carry on. Closing the gap again. Look, she has to choose a target and she has to be very, very slowly and quietly walk towards her. So this is still a big distance away from the zebras, because if she tries to run from there, definitely she will miss it. So she has to close the gap. And because all of them are facing the opposite direction, it's an advantage for her. There she goes again. She has to pick a good spot where she can creep and walk closer to them without being detected. The zebras are still not aware. Look at them all grazing and facing the opposite direction. The wildebeests are also doing the same. So I would always say that she has an advantage because Kaz, thank you so much for your question. Do zebras ever charge at an advancing lion? I've only seen zebras kick, and sometimes these lions can break their jaws. So they only walk or run closer to the lion and then turn to kick with their hind legs. That is so interesting to watch. If it ever happens, or it happens right now, it's going to be super, super exciting. She's still seated there. This is also a game of patience. Sometimes you wait here and see that she's closed the gap, and it can even take an hour or two, or even less than a minute. So it depends on how well or how good the wind is blowing. So she has to be downwind to advance up. You can see some zebras walking towards the road, and I'm sure that will be one of the targets. See further there, these zebras here, they're still walking, unaware of the danger. That tells you that she's not yet been seen. And if they all decided to walk that way, she'll definitely run and cut them across and isolate one. So as you watch from your living room, remember we're coming to you live. I'm gonna drive closer, see what she's going to do. So remember, this is coming live from the Masai Mara #WildEarth. Kids questions at wildearth.tv, and on your YouTube comment section at FC. How exciting is this? Phoebe, thank you so much for your question. This lioness is hunting by herself. And because of that, her sisters have all been left on their own on the other side. So this lioness, being a fully mature one, she is able to hunt by herself. Now, as we follow, we have other people joining us on this sighting. Whenever we have such exciting sightings, we have people accompanying us, just like the way you're watching from wherever you are in your living rooms. Now, the zebras and wildebeest are all walking towards the valley straight ahead. And our lioness is also doing the same, closing the gap. So I'm gonna stop and position you in a very secure place where we can watch this unfold as we wait to see what's going to happen. I'm going to take you to another safari jeep.
Yes, we're down here in South Africa and lots more elephants. Gotta love an elephantastic day. So peaceful. This is one of the larger herds that we've seen today. It might be one that came from Vuyatela Dam because they look quite crusty, as all of them are today. I was reacquainting myself with the ecological role of an elephant. And there's the obvious things, you know, they kind of prune the bush. They're the engineers of the bush. That phrase is used so often. They push down trees and things like that. It could be really destructive or look very destructive. But they make little hidey holes for little rodents, for mongoose, lots of little creatures, lizards, other reptiles. As well as great seed dispersers. I read a figure that in one elephant dung ball, there were 12,000 acacia seeds found just in one dung ball. And those seeds had a 75% germination rate of success, compared to only about 10 to 20% that scientists had just picked off trees and opened the pods off. So they're constantly adjusting the bush, constantly keeping it in its equilibrium. And that's why everything working together is so important. When something is thrown off, we see effects that we can't expect, would not have any idea how to expect them, because it's constantly kept a certain way by all the organisms in it. Sometimes I wish I could tell them what good they do. You're all loving the elephants today. I'm so glad. I am too. It's cooled down a little bit now, which means that it's perfect time to just have a look, I think, by Galago Pan. See if there's any traces of Tlalamba. And then also swing down to the den. Henry, you'd like to know if elephants ever lie down? They certainly do. Especially youngsters. You'll see them lying down and playing quite a lot, sometimes jumping on, well, not jumping, but standing on top of each other, putting their weight on top of each other. You'll see adults do it too. Adults can be quite playful also, especially in the water and the mud. That's when you really see them having a good time. Now when they sleep, they can also sleep lying down, especially if they're having REM sleep or they're engaging in REM sleep. Then you'll see them lying down, even adults, but youngsters more so. My favorite large animal to see lying down is a giraffe. It's just so cute. And they wrap their necks around them to kind of lie on their rump. You don't see it often, but I have seen it twice. It's quite amazing how the sound gets so distorted with the wind. Normally you'd hear crunching and crushing so loudly of the elephants as they move through the bush and eat. Yes, I'm sure the wind is monopolizing the mic today. They kind of spread across quarantine, which is quite nice to see. Over on the other side, I'm sure we'll hear them tonight in our rooms, walking by in the darkness and chomping away.
So while the ellies are walking away in the bushes, our lioness is still determined to go after the zebras and wildebeest. She's creeped in twice, too close, but then she's missed out. It's almost raining here. We're just having a few droplets. So she's still scanning and not yet decided what to do. Poor girl. I'm sure if the sisters join her, then it will be easy. But being an experienced lioness, I was expecting her to get to the kill. But out of 5 attempts, I reckon 2 or 1 is successful. So she's tried twice getting closer, but I think it wasn't close enough. So right now, all of them have just left this sighting. So she's still staring away while the rest of the wildebeest and zebra are gone. There's a big, massive herd and also big rain, a big storm coming in our side. And I'm sure tonight this lion will decide on what to do. So I'm just going to turn around and drive towards her. Drive towards where she is. Yeah,
Beautiful. Why not hunting in this time of a light when you're hungry, especially lioness? They have a lot of pressure, this animal. Now, this is not surprising me with this pride of Ngoma that is still lying here. It's just because nothing around them now. And if it was anything moving around here, and they would be definitely really interested in hunting. But maybe until they get up and go down, drink, and this is where they're going to, from there, focus on where they're going to go. Maybe they're going to head west, which that's what I don't really want them to go. But, it's actually very good pride to have around in this area. They also have one male here, which is one of the avoca. It's actually far distance where we can't take you through, and hopefully come out to join the pride over here. Well, this is actually most of the time for lions sleep about 20 hours, and then that's what actually suits their body. Also they have to relax, conceive a lot of strength for the evening hunt again. And of course they're big cats, as you can see. For them to be able to move for such a long way, not to take a rest, otherwise they will really get tired of it. And looks like to me, they have a long walk last night from the western sector down here. And it's also, I believe, also for them so nice to actually see the places where they used to operate in and out every time they're around. Hopefully we'll get to see them often here. Look at this one, it's just peacefully napping in there. Pressured, I think I heard well there. You want to know how much of a food lion eat daily? So it depends. A fully grown lion, anything but below 13 kilogram So for a male lion would eat that amount daily. And then of course, when they do that, as you can see, when they have a prey down, always they eat, and also they take turns or rest. But they digest and they go again and again. So they big cats. These male, they can take that much. And you can see size of a male, which male would weigh anything from over 200 kilogram, 220 kilogram, possibly more than that, depending on engine pull. But of course, for so many of them like this, they would need a big size of a prey species, such as a wildebeest or a zebra. And then this is how everybody is going to have sufficient a meal for the time being. They would go when they don't have a lot of choice. So anything they come across, small antelopes, such as a duiker, they can kill, but not very often. They would go for impalas. In a group, they work as a team. It works better for them as a team like this. But these young ones, they always have to stand back when their parents on a hunt for serious, But also it's for them to be able to see or learn the experience of stalking, and they carrying it on from there, that young age. But once the prey is down, there's no order in terms of feeding. The order that takes place is the male, when he's in the area, if it's impala, then he would push the rest of the females and the young one off, and then he had the meal for himself. So we'll take another moment here, see if these lions do anything.
We've made our way towards Galagopan, and we see the rest of the herd here that we had earlier in quarantine. And this young boy has decided that he wants to come check us out. No, you can't touch. Whoa, he just sprayed me with water. Why, thank you. Thank you. That was my blessing for the day. That is a good question. Water or snot? I think it's water. I think he might have had a drink at Galagopan. I saw it dripping from his trunk. Oh, now we've got a... He's picked up a rock. Now don't hurl that at me, please. Still got some on my face. Well, that is... Haven't ever been sprayed with any liquid from an elephant before. Caught some dust before, but not some liquid. Oh. That looked very much like, I'm done with you. That was very, very cool. You always see young males. The rest of the herd will completely be doing their own thing. And the young male will come all the way from, that's actually further away, where he was when he saw us. And they'll come right up to you and say, hey, I'm snotty and I need to clear my nose. And Trish, you look like a great tissue. Jackie, you'd like to know if I think that the elephants can recognize my scent or my voice. I definitely think they can recognize that there is a human around, but I don't think that I or people on Game Drive have a significant amount of time with individual elephants for them to recognize individual humans. I think a lot of elephants that have keepers, they'd be able to tell the voice and smell of that particular keeper. But I think us on Game Drive, we are not so fortunate. But I'm sure they are able to detect that there's a particular scent, frequency of voice that is associated with humans, and they're able to recognize us. But as individuals, sadly not. It is a nice thought, though. Sometimes when I see herds that we know, like this morning we had Fang's herd, and I didn't even recognize her. We said that maybe she was in disguise because she had branches in her mouth. And I thought that the backward Fang was actually one of her branches. And then when I went back and had a look, it was definitely Fang's herd. And herds like that we see often, certain individuals like Daryl was another big bull that we used to see very often. It's a nice thought to think that they recognize you particularly, but it's very, very unlikely. Nice thought, though. Now everyone has cleared off, and I'm going to head to the pan, see if we're lucky with Kalamba. Elephants haven't deterred her in the past, so I don't think they would now.
Thank you, Trishala, for having spotted my favorite mammals, the elephants. And yes, going to the pan, you might get some animals drinking, and maybe the leopard you're talking about. Now, I got the Thompson gazelles here, and if you look at them carefully, 3 are not eating. They're facing in a particular direction, not sure for what. 1 is eating, but I think they have been listening to the thunderstorms that have been going on the last few minutes. Because Bungay on camera is going to show you a small wall of rain, nothing that worries me much, but we have been hearing thunderstorms and seeing lightnings from a distance. But that's very normal of the Masai Mara. Before we get to the dark clouds, keep enjoying the Olororo escarpment in the background there. And I'm guessing towards that direction, the southwestern side. See how heavy clouds they are there. That's where Timothy is. And the Mara is such a huge game reserve. I am on the other end myself. And I would say, so far, so good. That's just little showers you see in the background, but nothing major has been like that for the last half an hour. The Masai Mara receives about 1,000 millimeters of rainfall. But on the upside, we got the Thompson gazelles. Those are thunderstorms. I hope you can hear them. And I love thunderstorms myself. I love lightnings. I love rain above all. Most of the beautiful antelopes you'll ever see, or gazelles, the Tommies, and as usual, having the tails left, right, and I'm happy enjoying to see the Tommies. I mean, they have been a bit scarce because of the coming of the wildebeest, and every time I see a Thompson gazelle, I think of a cheetah. Now, if you look carefully, all these ones here are males, by virtue of their huge horns. Of course, not huge comparing to the kudus or other antelopes, but by comparing to their body sizes, they got huge horns. See, we're looking at something that's not making them very comfortable, and every time you see a gazelle behaving like that, it's always something not very safe, and most likely a predator of some sort. The Tommies are very similar to the Grant's gazelle. Techland, that's a very good question you're asking. Do the animals get scared by the thunderstorms? Not really. What would happen is, if it's too loud, they will definitely react to it. And you can tell. You'll see, if they were eating, they'll immediately stop. The only challenge comes when there's very strong lightnings. We have seen once in a while the lightnings bringing the animals down, but apparently the small antelopes, not the big ones, not elephants, not buffaloes, and not rhinos. I was earlier talking of the Grans gazelle. They're very similar to the Thompson gazelles, but they're slightly bit larger in size. And the Tommies got the name from a very famous Scottish English explorer in the 18th century who came visiting Africa, and he loved, we hear, these Tommies, and he decided to name them after himself, and his name was Joseph Thompson. The same case to the Grans gazelle. There was another gentleman whose name was John Grant. It's a small bachelor club of 4, and Tommies will always prefer short grass. Occasionally we see Tommies tagging along with the wildebeest and the zebras during the migration. And they'll move on slowly, finding out maybe the lionesses I left somewhere, whether they're still there or they have moved on, as we take you to another location.
Beautiful. So we decided to drive through to this male we couldn't find amongst the female there. And then this is way isolated, away from them. Look at, he's just resting there. You can see, looking at his paw over here. Huge paw looking cat. But also when I just take a look at him, looks like he's more painting than the other females we saw earlier. You can see his tummy is actually slightly expand, pretty much. So it's probably that happened. They kill something and then he took, or whatever it was. Maybe it was not that big. And you know, this is what they do. Males, they always associate with the female when they're with the females, and they all have to rely on the female to hunt for them. Only when they all group as a coalition of males, they tend to focus on themselves in terms of survival. But now with this male over here, he's got all females right there. Anything happen, killing happen right here. All he does just respond immediately to that. More likely happy when the prey species are so big for everybody to have enough of meat at the same time. But if it's smaller, no, you're probably going to take it all for himself. And then all they do, they're just going to carry on, move, or lie on the far distance. Look at him as he finishes it off. So this is one of our Vorka male that they're 3 part of the other 2, and he's one of they all dominating in his pride over here. Looks like it's a lot bigger than the one I saw a few days ago. Ian, welcome to the show this afternoon. And yes, your question will be answered. You want to know if lions always found in the same area, or then no. So they're quite movement animals, most especially at night. So here where they are now, they've been spending the rest of the day. This is where the sun rises for them, and then they're all tired. They just take it easy because of this heat take place. But they're more likely to get on and move again once it's dark. So every time they settle down for a lot of hours in one place, maybe 2, 3, depend. Then that's happened. Maybe they have a kill. Then they're staying around in that area for a reason of feeding and of course taking care of meat until they're done. So they move around quite often. So they don't stick around in the same place. Kristen.
Well, you remember I just mentioned earlier that those Thompson gazelles, She just called, that's why I kept quiet. Beautiful yawn. This is the female from the River Pride, and apparently she's the one that got the 4 cubs. Let's listen to her. She's either calling the cubs, not sure where those cubs are. Yes, I agree with Cass in the final control. She's a stunning lady. She keeps calling once in a while. Look at her tail. She got a half tail, and this is one big ID mark for her that will never miss her. And not sure why she's very soft when she calls. But if you look at her physically, she's in good shape. Her belly, to me, seems full. And not sure she could be being so soft, scared of calling the cubs and maybe a male showing up, and things could go wrong if maybe the male is not the father of the cubs. What are you doing there? Little stretch. They're going to stand up, rise and shine. I've been wondering what name we can give this lioness with half a tail. That's exactly what I was telling you. What they will always do once in a while, I think she's seen the sister, and I think she was calling the sister. Why she's calling that softly, I have no idea. But the good news is, I'm going to show you the sister who she was calling, who have just arrived, and see maybe how they greet each other. Just right there. The sisters just come in the picture, and you'll see them being a bit playful now. Just watch that. The sister comes. Hello. How are you? How awesome is that? Very simple greetings, but you can tell how they just keep in touch. And I don't know how long they've been apart, maybe for the better part of the afternoon. But of all the cats we got in Africa, we all know lions are the most social cats. Come on the other side of the Tamad Mound. You need to have a vantage point to be able to see some prey, just like what Timothy had earlier with the Ololo Pride trying to hunt some zebras. This is the River Pride. Timothy is on one corner of the Mara, and I'm on the other end. And the Mara Triangle has so many lion prides. So Tom has the Olololo. This is the River Pride. River Pride, 4 females, 4 cubs, Pride male, called Blondie, and a young sub-adult male. We got another pride that we call the Mogoro Pride. We got another pride called the Salt Lick. You all know my favorite pride, the Sausage Tree Pride. We got the Purungat Pride. We got the Owino Pride. But currently, I'm enjoying the River Pride. Now, I was just saying, would you be happy if we give this one lioness here that got half a tail a name? The other day, you remember we named, oops, watch out, don't hurt each other. Very rarely that will happen. We named a young baby elephant that injured her foot, and we called her Jasiri because of her courage. I was wondering whether maybe today or tomorrow would give this lioness that got a half tail a name. You may choose a name in English, and maybe I may do the translation in Swahili, which is our local national language. So what we'll do between today and tomorrow, I am going to coin a few Swahili names, and then you're going to do a Twitter poll, like what we did with the Jasiri, and then we'll give this lioness a name. And I think in this particular pride, she's the pathfinder, and she would be, to me, the dominant female. The cubs definitely are in the den, and maybe because of the rains, They may remain there until tonight or tomorrow. And I think these two lionesses may be going to look for some early dinner. We'll take you to another colleague as a watch out to see what they exactly want to do.
Now back to our lions here. We are having a good time because this couple has been mating. We think because of the storm they would have stopped it, but then I think it's not gonna deter them. This male name, his name is Doa, and that I think that lioness is one from the Ngala Pride. They've been around this area for about 3 or 4 days, not left this particular site. So lions can mate about 4 times in an hour, after every 15 to 20 minutes. So we just witnessed the second time from when we got here. With the storm looming, I think they'll choose a different spot because it's out in the open. When it rains, lions will seek shelter under a tree or maybe under some bushes. Or if the trees are far away from where they are, they'll definitely lie in the open. Look at how handsome this male is. We've been having lots of activities this evening. We've had the Tswalu Pride missed out on a hunt. We have this Doa and one of the Ngala Pride lioness. This is so exciting to see. So lions, when they're mating, they can go without food for the rest of the mating time, which is actually interesting to see. They only drink water if sometimes when prey comes their way, they just ignore that. I don't know what has caught his attention. Maybe the storm, but I'm sure he doesn't want anyone closer to him. Now this morning we had a lion, not from this area. His name is Splitnose, and if Splitnose gets to detect or get the scent of the female, he will definitely come to this site and there's going to be a big fight. So I'm sure this lion has already had Splitnose raw at night, and maybe tonight Splitnose might come to this side. Yeah, something got his attention on our side. Very interesting to watch. He is so beautiful and handsome young lion. Look at his mane. Wow. So if this is successful and the lioness conceives, then she will take about 3.5 months before she gives birth. But if another lion comes in, he will be kicked out, there'll be a fight, and the other lion will carry on mating with her. Something again caught their attention on the other side. I think also because of the rain and lots of wildebeest around, that is what is also catching up his attention. It's also nice to see them mating. Remember, we're coming to you live from the Masai Mara. So for the young viewers, please send us your question, that kids question, at wildearth.tv, #WildEarth, and on the YouTube comment section at FC. Kamu, thank you so much for your question. How often do lion hunt when they're mating? The answer is they don't hunt when they're mating. I've seen this for quite some time, only once that I saw a lion trying to get a young zebra, but during that time, they don't actually go for a hunt. So we are covered here inside this square here under our canvas because it's been raining out there. We don't want to risk our equipment getting wet. Have lots of activities this evening. There was a lot of pride trying to hunt some zebras and wildebeest. And then the rain came in, got so close, it didn't happen. Now we've come across Doa and one of the Mogoro Pride lionesses trying to mating. So this is getting exciting out here under the canvas. Wow, look at that lion. So handsome. I'm sure there's been lots of activity going on around here in the Mara. So once they stop mating, they will split up. Doa will walk to a different area, and then that lioness will go back to her pride. As we wait here, let's cross our fingers for the rain not to rain on us.
Well, just stay where you are. You might be lucky to see them mating. And I think it would be a good idea to see lions mating in the rain. Now, my two girls are ahead of me, and I'm just following them very slowly. But in the background, I can hear lots of calls from zebras. And about a kilometer away or two from where I am, I've seen loads and loads of wildebeest. The migration is still on in the Mara. And I'm happy you had the zebras calling, and I would guess those have been stallions. And these girls, it may not be right away, but you can tell they're heading towards those zebras. I'm so very convinced before long, they're going to bring a prey down. And chances are, it will be a wildebeest. I've seen like hundreds of them. From a place they had parked the vehicle and they stood on the bonnet and had that vantage point to look like an eagle. And I saw loads and loads of wildebeest coming towards us, and the direction they're going. And I hope you can hear the zebras again, and you saw some lightning in the background there. That's the beauty of being in the African wilderness. Sometimes it gets so quiet. And just look at that sight. I mean, Bunge is doing a wonderful job on camera. Did you see that? But we got rain covers for the vehicle. Very good. We got raincoats ourselves. We got four-wheel drive vehicles. We got some tea and coffee in the Jeep just in case. Because I'm not leaving these lionesses until I see what they want to do. Very slowly and surely follow them, and we'll definitely update you when you come back to me.
As David is following the lionesses, we are still waiting here under the canvas, waiting for these lions to mate. These lions have been on the mate for about 4 days from now, and I'm suspecting that it's almost towards the end of the mating season. Look at what will happen. The lion will still follow her. At this time, the lions always guard the lionesses from any other intruder. Okay, there we go. That's the mate. Look at how he will snarl, and the lioness will also snarl. It's so exciting to see this sometimes. Look at how beautiful this shot. Yes, that's what I'm saying. awesome sound. He's peeing while marking his territory there. So when the lions pee, they have to rub their hind feet onto where they've peed. And that makes a scent trail whenever they're walking. So that will be sensed or smelled by another lion that will come walk around here. So that is typical of a lion behavior, scent marking. And when he will walk away, another lion comes into this territory, definitely they will have to smell the scent.
Beautiful. So now we left the male again there, since he needed his privacy, but came back now to the pride. It looks like some of them have moved from this very same area and just taking it easy around here. So it's such a beautiful pride. I mean, just to look at how they spread around here. Maybe this is how they'll begin, trying to be active for a hunt. And then they are very experienced cat. Djuma Pride, they're well known of, bring such a big game down. And then if it's ever anything like zebra, wildebeest around here, definitely they will be very much interested on going for that. But for sure, they're not sure where they're going to end up to, by tomorrow. So, they have to plan their route. And then whoever's going to lead here, and then they're all happy about that. They have to be all agreed and then take that journey to move out of here. But of course, for them, they never be on a mission of reaching their destiny. It's a lot of delay because of maybe trying to hunt stock, take place, miss killing or killing that take place. Of course, this is what happened. So, but we may actually find them tomorrow again around here, depending on what activity they're doing during the night. And they tend to be very much happy when it's windy at night. It's to just playing. Ultimate alka drinker. You want to know what lions dream. So, such a cats like this, they always have a lot of things going on in their mind. Sometimes, they most like other animals, like other cats, but they, have a unique way of how they do. They do pick up a lot of a thought on their own, but sometimes they forget about, the whole thought that take place. This, it's something to do with, especially when they're all of them in such a group. Everybody would have a thought that maybe one help the others, maybe, or that particular animal too small to able to be trusted by the rest, maybe, and then that's where it's got to be a lot of delay. So lions, just like cats, seen dogs when they take a nap, and of course see them maybe trying to jump over or freak out immediately. You found nothing spook them or disturb them, so that sometimes something scary come on their mind when they take a nap. Also, but remembering when they sleep unconscious. So half asleep, half awake, that makes them be able to always be ready, anything, come for them. They were able to be, taken or maybe move out of the area if it's too dangerous for them. So when they hunt, also they hunt on probably listening or sight, smelling, all of this. So when it's wind again, pouring rain, they always hunt, but, towards the wind. They face the wind, so there's an opportunity of smelling prey far distances. And then for that, they need to make sure how to approach or how far is that. They're able to tell that. But such a pride, They got to work as a team here, surround whatever it is, and finally they come out with a good result of a killing. But sometimes they do miss the kill. This is because of maybe the communication sometimes went beyond, or they were so excited so quickly that they didn't really aim in maybe one target or for few target in a pride. In that case, it's a lot of a miskilling. Find the whole prey species, whole impala just ran out of there, and they're all left alone. But they don't really give up. They're still playing another, a situation where they take care of, keep going again, and then until they make it happen. Of course, it's a big pride over here. These, they have to eat at least 2-3 days. After that, they have to make a plain feed again. And, that's why I say that, if it's a big prey like zebra or kudu, waterbuck, this will make them, stay in the area for maybe one day or not to think of going anywhere else. But, refrigerate their kill. You always have to put their kill under a shadow. And you see them, trying to cover the stomach, the contents, that trying to bring a lot of smells if they don't want to be disturbed by the vultures. So this is how it's kind of a technique of getting rid of a lot of scavengers. They are the biggest scavengers. Would think of hyena, but lions also do the same. And they steal from lions, steal other from leopards, from cheetah. They can take anything that left behind or died naturally, just like vulture do. So it looks like now I see one that's trying to move. Maybe because usually they stand or they stretch, use the trees, this is how they stretch their nails or claws. But she just went and stopped there. I don't think this is all about getting excited of moving around here. Well, it's getting at a time now where they will probably just gonna, think of moving and lie down until they decided to move for serious. So you'll see on this female here, closer to us, see behind the ears, it's pitch black on these ears. And this is how they communicate when they move at night, able to follow, where they don't have to be visible at night. For sure, they are nocturnal. So I'm gonna wait here until we see what these pride are gonna do here.
Those lions seems like they're active. We've had to switch off on to infrared here to follow our lionesses. Unfortunately, we're still under the canvas and they've walked just in front of where I am. How exciting is this? Just look at what is in front of us. These two lions have decided to join us on the road. So it means like tonight, we're not going back to camp. Road blocked. Remember, we're coming to you live from the Masai Mara, #WildEarth, and for the kids questions at wildearth.tv, on the YouTube comment section at FC. These lions are stretching, doing yoga just in front of us. Seems like Doa, he's not quite sure whether he wants her to leave or not. Well, she keeps on stretching. She will decide on where to go. And Doa has to follow her. Look at how big they are. They're almost the same level with the hood of this car. How exciting. Now, after everyone has left this sighting, you are watching this. They've woken up, come to the road. Now, as you wait there, we're going to sit here with them. So tonight, no heading back to camp. Wow, look at him. He's come to investigate. I can see the lioness here. I think they like us, and they like WildEarth. He's peeing on the car. Very funny and so interesting. Now they've walked around. Wow, super exciting. I can hear them growling. Can you believe this is just coming from the African wilderness? How exciting. How exciting is that? Now, because we turn on to the infrared, I'm blown away just saying, wow, this is super exciting. Now, we've turned on to infrared. It's getting dark here, so I might turn around a little bit and then see what they're doing or where they're going to. They can hear that they're just next to the car. So we'll just drive slowly, turn around for us to see. How exciting is that?
Sounds like exciting stuff going on in the Mara. On this side, we're just taking it easy. You can see a bit of the sun. Get a gap there, BK. The beautiful setting sun of Africa. Lovely colors, a very good temperature at the moment. So I've swung past the den. No luck thus far. But I will have to spend some time there because I need to see hearts of two little ones that I haven't met before. So this morning, because I kind of realized that I've been telling you about looking for Tlalamba and didn't explain that the reason I know it's Tlalamba from this morning, even though we didn't have a leopard, is that she walked past our rooms. In fact, Tristan on his way out saw her. Of course he did. And of course she was coming to say goodbye to him. And then we heard her sawing just before, maybe 15 minutes before drive started in the morning. And I didn't see any tracks coming out the whole day. So I'm hoping that she was lying up in the drainage somewhere. And hopefully we'll be able to follow up. Maybe she'll come out now that the sun is setting. I think it's time for a few calming and relaxing moments of silence. You'll hear a slight rustling of the leaves and a few calls as everything settles down for the night. Just gorgeous as it melts away. The air smells so fragrant. Magic dragon wizard, you say? It looks like a painting. It really does, especially with that little cloud at the top. So the air is fragrant. It's really like heavy because it's so warm. It feels very dense. And I don't know if you've ever heard this comparison. In fact, I'm not sure if I heard it or I just thought of it myself. But it's going to sound so strange, but you know how warm water tastes rounded and cold water tastes spiky? I hope that some of you out there will be able to understand what I mean. In this kind of weather, where the air is warm, the sounds feel rounded. And when the air is cool, the sounds sound sharp. If there's anybody out there who knows what I mean, you can use the hashtag WildEarth and let me know that I'm not going crazy. It doesn't happen often that anybody lets me know that, so I would appreciate it. A few of you are agreeing with me. Thank you. I don't know how else to say it. It's just that warm water is all like marble, like it's rounded, Anyway, enough of this madness. And the sun is trying to escape my madness. I think one last gamble towards Camp Gallagher shortcut. And maybe I deserve a last-minute leopard for my first day back. Wasn't it lovely? Almost made me sleepy. And thank you for agreeing with me, some of you. All right, off I go. Hopefully, last-minute leopard for us here at Djuma.
Beautiful, sunset is always a beautiful thing to watch. So here, since we have this bride, and then they actually looks like they're going to move south, looks like it. So one female that I've already moved further away, and as you can see, this young one is still sniffing around to see where she have moved through, but she could just, I don't think she moved far away, she probably just moved lay down, because they started like this, and then they're all just gonna, get used to moving a lot from actually sleeping and moving right directly. It could be a lot of a mission for these cats to do. So they started smooth, up and move, lie down, up, move and lie down. But the male looks like he's still far in there where we left him. If they're gonna move south without him, then he's gonna always keep up with them as they track one another through their foot structure where they move. It's kind of a unique smell. They pick it up, and then they're able to catch up one another again. Could be the way where the male, sometimes you find he always finally separated from them and probably do his work, scent marking. Juan, good evening, welcome to the show. So you want to know how many lions in scent? Not 100% sure, and it's quite a few prides I can tell you, but I'm not sure how many individuals in a pride. So we're in the northern scent here, where in this particular area where we're at in Djuma. So at the moment there is this pride is a Ngala pride that you see here. I counted like 6 adults and that male. So this is another pride that occurs up in the west a lot of time. And there is a Talamati pride, which also far north. They also come to an area. This is something to do with sharing male between this pride, because they're dominated by the same males, avokas. And I haven't had much of other pride, which was a Torchwood pride. There was also located up, or they used to hang around Torchwood, part of the eastern sector, which is possible they went back to Kruger Park there. So yeah, this is actually the northern pride we find quite often. But further south, there's a lot of other different pride that are, I'm not sure how many of them individual in the pride. So it looks like now, there's another adult there, also more mobile. I think all of them, they will probably finally do the same here. by the one that was leading first. Looked like she made a good choice. Whether it was that dream we were talking about, of course. Quite difficult to actually tell the lions or animals' dreams, what it means to them, whether they, following up on their dreams, or most animals, not only lions. And I'm not so sure with the horses. Those are spending a lot of time with their horses back there. But if it's that so, then also it could help them too much. Especially those are the leaders in the group. If you want to talk about the elephant, which of course, matriarch, then if she ever pick up dreams or bad dreams and whatever happened, probably just, a lot of stress for her if it's a bad news or whatever it was about a dream. And then she needs to make sure she trying to avoid what this means and be ready for this, could it happen or not. So it's difficult for such animal. But of course, all animals that do pick up dreams. This young one, it looks like they're all just going to vanish. Just like that. We have a lot of space here. Whatever they do, leading on front of us, which they lead to the south. In this position, we're at Guaripan, western side of Guaripan, our location. And then when they do that, they're going to come out at the junction. It's called Central Drakensberg Road. Those are all familiar with the land here. It's bringing a lot of sense in yourself or knowing where exactly we are. So there we just came from was a lot of zebra and a lot of impalas. Never know, maybe it was quite way off. But it could be that they already smell where the food source is and also how far it is for them to be able to try make a meal for the evening. If these cubs actually will feed, it means that the all females over here, they didn't have opportunity to actually compete with the male. A lot of time you see a young one that aren't actually scared of male, you can yell at them, but they still share a little bit of food with them. You can hurt them if you want, but then they still eat. But the adult, they witness a lot of fight and injury from males. They all stay away. So one of the females, she's just going to come out here, past this female. This was the last female. She was lying far back. So this is a good result that maybe they now going to be started to think of which direction they're going to take, which is the south. Look at the grass and the animal itself. They're well blending. It's all about camouflage. When they move through, you would imagine if it's a night time, it would be very difficult to spot things like this because grass is all browny, gold, matched similar color of this animal. Since the female, they're all capable of hunting and this what makes them machinery. And of course, when they focus on a target, I understand that sometimes there's a lot of conflict where sometimes there's a lot of prey species in the group for them to be able to focus on one, unless if it's a limping, but also it comes a lot easier on a buffalo because buffalo, when they're on the move, and the lions always, follow behind the herd of buffalo. Finally, those that cannot keep up with the herd, and then these are easy to target this animal. They will know exactly, if we can get that one immediately down, the rest of the herd will turn around and they'll finally find we're already killing that animals and it's done. So getting hold of buffalo in a herd, they have to do it immediately as a group here. And the buffalo, they will help each other, always turn around, fight lions away and get their friend back to the herd again. But, faster killing, it's when all of them in that animal. And, of course, and that the killing is going to happen quickly. Otherwise, I'm going to stick finally with this line here.
Things are happening on quarantine now. We've got the Ngala in the background. They're just walking off. And here we have a nice little herd of impala. There's still some elephants milling about here too. What did they hear? I've said it before, I'll say it again. We might see impala all the time, but you sit and watch them, and you can get clues. Interesting. There they go. The Ngala in the background has also started running. Let's move a little bit forward. I haven't heard anything. It's at times like this when you really wish that it's not just a car driving past. They wouldn't be able to hear very well. There's impala down there that are quite calm. So by me saying they won't be able to hear very well, I'm implying that I should be able to hear whatever it is that scared them. Hello, Julianne. I'm so glad that you asked me this question. Julianne, who's 4 years old, would like to know what's my favorite animal. Julianne, I don't have a favorite animal. It's so hard to pick one, don't you think? Sometimes there's a few that I really, really like. I love hyenas, I love elephants, I love chameleons, I love bats, I love too many things. And it's hard for me to choose. And I've always been that way. Oh, I love sharks, love whales, dolphins. The list just goes on and on and on. And I've always been this way. And then when I came out here and started to work with all the animals every day, I thought, oh, this way I must be able to narrow in on what it is my favorite animal is. But no, it just got worse. Because every animal has a special place. All of them behave a little bit funnily. You just have to be at the right place at the right time. But thank you for asking me, Julianne. And then how also can I forget leopards and lions? Just too many. And platypus, of course. Oh, and an echidna. Oh, I love echidnas. Absolutely adore them. And hedgehogs, for that matter. I need to stop. There's no point in me going on. It really, really isn't. I love them all. So you can see everyone has calmed down. They might have just been a little bit frantic at that moment because of the wind, but now that they're all bunched together in their large herd in quarantine, they feel a little safer and everybody is relaxed.
Alrighty guys, have a look at what we just found. So this is called a Cape fox. They look very much, oops, sorry boy. They've actually got a den site just here where she was lying. They also burrow, just like we have the bat-eared foxes burrowing. I'm gonna go back a bit, see if we can get another open shot on her. But yeah, so Cape fox, beautiful little animal. That's as big as they get. See him running up there. See her, David? Yeah. Okay. let me do this. There's another one moving there at the back. Very, very cute, hey guys? Beautiful little animals. I know they are a little bit shy now. Go a bit to you. There's one sitting in the bush there, and a bit more to your right, you'll see there's another one. There he's going. There he's going. Hey, look at how beautiful that is. So these are the two species of foxes that we get around here, guys. The Cape fox, this one, and then we have that other one with the big ears, the bat-eared fox. Now the Cape fox, they feed more on small mammals and little reptiles and so on. So little rodents, little birds, eggs, little lizards, those types of things. That's what they'll feed on. So more hunting than the bat-eared fox. They'll also feed on fruits. So we have something called a tsama melon around here, which is very high in, water. Very, very high water concentration. A lot of the animals actually use those fruits, those tsama melons, as a means of obtaining water in quite an arid environment. So things like the jackals, the foxes, brown hyenas, all of those things, they'll actually feed on those fruits. But so you'll also find these little guys after rain. I've seen them quite often after rain on the roads, busy catching the flying termites, the princes and the princesses that's going to form the new colonies. They feed on them. Very high in protein. But yeah, just the cutest little things. They are literally the size of a baby jackal. So if you had to imagine the size at the moment, probably standing about maybe at the shoulder, 20 centimeters tall, if it is that high. What is that?
Laura Moore was asking, are they smaller than bat-eared?
So our Laura Moore just had a question. Are they smaller than bat-eared foxes? Yes, Laura. They are almost half the size. So very, very small, actually. You also don't have them being quite as fluffy as the bat-eared foxes. So bat-eared fox is a bit more fluffy and quite a bit taller on the leg. Whereas these guys, they are very, very small. Guys, if you have to think about a size reference, a Yorkie, a Yorkshire Terrier, they're about that big. A little bit more of a petite face and so on, not the long hair, obviously. They do look more fox-like. Well, they are foxes. But yeah, more or less the size of a Yorkshire Terrier, if you had to imagine that. And then you'll find that the bat-eared foxes would go up to about, I want to say, maybe a Jack Russell's height. So a Jack Russell Terrier. So yeah, quite a bit of a size difference. The bat-eared foxes being almost double the height of the Cape foxes, but these guys are just a little cute. So stunning to have found these guys. They're actually nocturnal, so very, very happy to have seen them.
Beautiful. So we're able to now get slightly close to this little opening here where this bride have come in, and they, as you can see, they all just lie all over here. So we talk about how they started to move. They all don't just directly move. They all do this for probably 2-3 hours, and even forget about what they want to do next until they do it again and again and again. So that's so, great for animal like that. They don't have a lot of things on their mind of not actually able to reach your destiny is not a problem, but you can do the best of your experience. If they get disturbed here, if they kill anything like giraffe around here, they would spend 3 days, sometimes 4 days. So there's no need for them to move. And of course, they still have walker male, this is the part of the territory area of operation, so it's no problem. The only problem is when now these males disappeared and then unknown males came to the pride. It's not going to be nice for us all, and we don't wish that to happen, because always new male coming in, they come with a lot of their own power, but all they want to develop is their own gene pool within a pride, which you're looking here, some of these lions are still very young at age, which they're more likely to be killed. So it's so important if you have a lot of pride, and then you also have males that dominate the pride, these prides. For a coalition to dominate 3-4 different pride, it's not a problem. They have to be strong enough to handle all of it. So, yeah, indeed. It's really perfect, and it's been a great afternoon today. So I think it looks like they perfectly, rolling over and over. But, lions, they love one another, so they don't have a lot of fight between, unless when they feed. That's why you see a lot of fight, conflict take places. Those don't, you would always think they don't love one another, but they do. So, yeah, well, for everyone, we come to the end of the show for this afternoon. Just want to say goodbye to everyone, and then I believe tomorrow we will be able to, join again in the same area and the same spot in the same channel. I just want to say goodbye for everyone. All take care and have a good evening.
This program features